John Kennedy was never the kind of senator who relied on theatrics. He didn't need to. His words, sharp as a blade but carried with the charm of a Southern storyteller, were enough to hold the room. That day, however, when he walked onto the Senate chamber carrying a thin black folder stamped classified, the atmosphere shifted. Journalists sitting in the gallery leaned forward. Staffers stopped whispering. Even the most seasoned politicians seemed to know something historic was about to happen. Across from him sat Representative Ilhan Omar, her expression calm but wary. For months, rumors had swirled about her alleged connections to groups that operated far outside the boundaries of American law. Many dismissed the chatter as political gamesmanship. Others whispered that there might be more beneath the surface. Kennedy had stayed quiet through it all, a silence that made people wonder what he was waiting for. Now, the wait was over. "Madam Chair, members of this committee," Kennedy began, his Louisiana drawl deliberate, his tone steady. "We are entrusted by the American people to separate fact from fiction, to guard not just the truth, but the very foundation of trust this country rests upon. Today, I regret to say, what I hold in this folder is not fiction." The room grew still. Omar folded her hands in front of her, attempting a measured smile. "With all due respect, Senator, I hope this isn't another circus of baseless accusations. The people I represent deserve better." Kennedy's eyes didn't waver. He laid the folder on the desk, sliding out several documents covered with redacted lines and seals of intelligence agencies. He didn't trace his voice, but his words carried weight. "For the past 18 months, our intelligence services have tracked financial trails that led from organizations hostile to American interests, right into campaign coffers connected to your political network. And these aren't rumors, Congresswoman. These are hard numbers, intercepted communications, verified through multiple channels. The evidence is irrefutable." The gallery gasped. Even seasoned reporters scribbled furiously. Omar's smile faded. She leaned into her microphone. "This is outrageous. You're weaponizing classified information to smear me, a woman of color, a refugee who worked hard to serve this country. How convenient that you reveal this now, during an election year." Kennedy held her gaze, his voice softening, almost sympathetic. "Ma'am, this isn't about race. It's not about your background. America has welcomed people from every corner of this earth, but what it cannot and will not welcome is betrayal. The oath we take is sacred, and it does not bend to ambition." The weight of his words settled over the chamber like a heavy fog. For a moment, Omar said nothing. The fire in her eyes dimmed, replaced with something closer to panic. She reached for her papers, rifled through notes that suddenly felt irrelevant. The silence spoke louder than any denial. Then, something unexpected happened. A woman in the audience stood up. She was young, maybe in her early 20s, wearing a faded jacket with the small American flag pinned on the chest. "Senator Kennedy is right," she said, her voice trembling but clear. "We put our faith in leaders to protect us. My brother gave his life overseas, believing this government stood for truth. If there are leaders selling us out, we deserve to know. We deserve better." Security moved to quiet her, but Kennedy raised a hand. "Let her speak." The chamber, once cold and procedural, was now human, raw with emotion. People nodded. Some wiped their eyes. Kennedy turned back to Omar. "This is not just about classified documents. It's about trust. It's about every soldier, every immigrant, every single person who calls this country home. We cannot betray them." Omar's defenses crumbled. The once fiery Congresswoman sat silently, eyes lowered, as though the gravity of the moment had finally broken through the armor of politics. By the end of the hearing, the evidence had been entered into record. Investigations were set into motion, careers placed under scrutiny, reputations on the line. Kennedy didn't gloat. He didn't smile at his victory. Instead, he closed the black folder, tapped it once with his hand, and said, "May we never forget that power is borrowed, not owned, and one day, it must be returned with honor." The story swept across the nation in hours. News networks replayed the clip endlessly. John Kennedy, standing firm, exposing what many thought was untouchable. Some were furious, others felt vindicated. But the underlying message cut through the noisy. Truth matters, even when it is inconvenient, even when it is painful. For weeks afterward, people debated the fallout. Yet the moment that lingered wasn't just the classified evidence. It was the young woman in the gallery, standing up and reminding everyone that leadership is a sacred trust. It was Kennedy's reminder that honor matters more than ambition. And that became the lasting lesson of the day. Power may come and go, reputations may rise and fall, but integrity once lost can never be fully restored. In the end, the story wasn't about John Kennedy destroying Ilhan Omar. It was about a nation watching one man dare to hold truth above politics, and one chamber of government forced to reckon with the fact that the people are always watching.